Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, this is a little update on poor missing Nicola Bulley from St Michael's on Wyre, which is now exactly a week ago. Me recording this right now, she went missing exactly a week ago on January 27th, walking her dog, a spaniel, Willow, after dropping off her two daughters ages 6 and 9 at primary school, and then doing the morning constitutional of walking her dog along bank, the towpath of the River Wyre. Now, I've done a few videos on this already, and we've had some discussions and some theories. We've got nothing new to go on at all, nothing. She hasn't been found. But if we can take some kind of solace from this in some way, it's that this case is now getting bigger. It's getting mentioned more and more on mainstream TV shows. They're interviewing people. Former Scotland Yard detective Peter Bleksley was interviewed today, and we're going to talk about that in a minute because he had some very interesting things to say about this. They are still searching the area. They're still got divers in the river. They're still dredging the river up and down, and they're walking every side, and covering a lot of ground. But nothing. The dog was found without the lead and without the harness. Her phone was found alongside the lead and harness on the bench. It's now become this sinister bench. The focal point of the search is from that bench onwards, and that bench sits on the towpath overlooking the river. Now, nothing's been found. Her friends and family are coming out now. They're all giving lots of interviews and saying what a kind soul she is. They'd arranged things, for this weekend, sort of play dates and things. There's lots of things in the diary which she was looking forward to doing. So there's no reason for her to abscond, to voluntarily go missing. Her aged mum and dad gave a very emotional interview the other day, and it's not pleasant to watch, to be honest, but as if it's going to be. They're distraught, aren't they? Everybody's distraught and fearing the worst. But they have said that there's no way she went into that river. Someone's got her. Someone's taken her. Well, I don't know if that's entirely true, but there is no evidence of her going into the river. There's no signs of a scramble or a slip or a fall. There's no signs of an attack. The dog itself wasn't wet. So the dog hadn't been in the river. So theories of the dog had fallen in and she'd gone in to go and get the dog and couldn't get back out. The dog wasn't wet. There's only a very small window, a 25-minute window where she's gone missing. People had seen it before, and people had seen the dog afterwards and found the phone and the lead and the harness. She was on a works conference call at the time she went missing. The phone, when it was found, was still on that call, although the phone was muted on her part. So I think I was saying in a previous video that have the police interviewed the other people on that conference call because they may have heard something, but it was muted, so they wouldn't have heard anything, but they still might have heard something beforehand, some kind of clue. I bet they have spoken to them. You've got the abandoned house, the very posh abandoned house directly opposite the bench on the other side of the river, where search and rescue couldn't go in there, but the guy who actually owns the place just happened to be there, and they asked him, can you go and have a look in there and see if she's there? And he came out quickly and said, no, she's not here. Well, throughout all of this, the police, right from the word go, Sally Riley, it is Lancashire police, they've said quite categorically, we don't suspect a third party in this. This is a missing persons case, but there's no evidence of foul play, no attack. We don't suspect any third party involvement. Right. And the whole sort of vocabulary that they've been using, and even the friends and family, apart from the mum and dad, are kind of saying, Nicky, come back home. Now, if you think about that, that is very much implying that Nicola Bulley has herself gone. She's up sticks and gone. But if that's the case, why hasn't she been seen anywhere else? In another village or on a street somewhere? She'd have been seen Why would she untether the dog and just set the dog free, put the phone down and the lead and the harness and just leave that? So much of this does not add up. But the police, now this is coming on to Peter Bleksley, the former Scotland Yard detective. He's actually quite famous, this guy. He's been brought in to many cold cases since he retired. He's probably been busier since he retired than he was when he was on the force. He's always doing stuff. He's on TV programmes all the time. He instigates investigations into various cold cases and does these documentaries. And he's very, very highly thought of. Now, he was interviewed this morning and he said this is definitely mysterious. It's very unusual. But what he was getting at was the Lancashire police handling of the situation. He said, let's be honest, the police will always know something that you don't know. They're not going to make everything public. He said, right from the word go, they said, we're not suspecting any third party involvement. And he said, they would have taken that bench. He said, the unusual thing is, that bench, which is the focal point, that bloody bench, they would have removed that, regardless of whether there's a crime taking place, because that will hold possibly vital forensic information. So they would take that bench and do a thorough examination of it, lasting days perhaps. That it wouldn't be remaining in situ, where people can just traipse around and sit on it and, take pictures of it, because it's now become quite a famous bench, infamous bench. So he said they've been categorically, really openly broad about there's no third party involved. How do they know? He said they clearly know something which they're not saying, but they're still searching. So what do the police know? And the whole narrative, I hate using that phrase, you always say the narrative, it's about political things or, current affairs, the narrative structure is this. Well, sadly, I'm going to have to use it. But the narrative that the police and all the people who are being interviewed, apart from the mum and dad, has been shifting towards, Nikki, just come back home. Come on, Nikki, the girls miss you. They need the mum back. Come on, Nikki. They're not saying, give her back. She's done nothing wrong. Give her back, please, free her. They're not doing that. It's phrased the other way. It's, Nikki, come back home. So what is it the police know? I don't know. I don't know. But what kind of does sort of warm or soften this dilemma is the fact it's getting far more exposure. I was finding stuff just, online, the newspapers, in the area, and just, interviews that were conducted with newspapers. And but it would get short thrift on TV. But now it's getting huge sections in different TV shows and news programs. So it's gaining momentum in many ways. And that can only be a good thing. So there are descriptions everywhere. They're having town meetings in St Michael's on Wyre. Her partner, Nikki's partner himself, was at these meetings. So the people in the area are very galvanised and very determined to get a successful and happy resolution to this. So everyone it's gaining vigour. There's more people up there. Again, you've got to say, look, you are traipsing around in an area where there could be evidence which you could be destroying by walking there. But hey, you just need boots on the ground, because she's there somewhere, presumably. But it's an unusual scenario, certainly. And it's come at a time just when I was really getting interested in the whole missing 411 phenomenon. I'm not saying that this is part of that, but it does have certain elements which would be looked at from a missing 411 perspective. It's unusual, point of separation, body of water, canines can't find a scent, there's a dog involved in it, but the dog was okay, the dog hasn't disappeared, but the person has, in a very small window of opportunity, almost vanished, you could say. Well, she has vanished. The police were looking for other witnesses, and another woman, another dog walker, they appealed to find her. She was caught on CCTV, because just across the way, you've got roads and normal, it's Garstang Road. So, and she's come out of there. So it's although it's a rural area, you've got a little village right there where she went missing from. And this woman was caught on CCTV, and they've identified her, and they've approached it, and she said, I don't know anything. So a lot of these little angles that, oh, the so-and-so might have been there, so-and-so walks their dog there as well. There's been at least 3 witnesses that have had to go and find, and they can't say anything, and they haven't done anything, you know. So, but where could you go within that very small timescale if you haven't gone in the river? But if she had gone in the river, by now they'd have found her. As I said, this is not the River Mersey. No, this is not the Amazon. It's a winding, meandering river. I don't think it's that deep at all. The tide because a lot of it's tidal. It goes out into the estuary, into the sea. So when the tide comes in, the river rises. Of course it does, but mainly towards the far end, you know, towards the estuary, not where she was. But a body can still be swept, you know, and dragged and whatever. But you've got divers there, and they've got all surveillance equipment, and they've dredged the water. Nothing. Now the police know some vital bit, some clue, some information that they have has made them completely emphatic. Look, she hasn't been attacked. No one else is involved. No one else has took her. So why are they going after all these other witnesses then? What did you see? You know, have the police got her? You just don't know. And they're kind of enforcing this. We urge people not to speculate. Well, you've got no other option, have you? If you are genuinely concerned for her welfare and where she is and what's happened, what else are you going to do? We've got nothing tangible to go on. She's either in the river or she's been abducted. They're saying she's not been abducted or attacked. There's no foul play. It's not a crime. She's just a missing person. And they can't find her in the river. And they can't find her on the land. Oh, well, we just go, oh, she's just missing. Just missing. So we just got to accept that. Like her family have got to accept that. And her friends have got to accept that. There is some information there which they have. They're going to anyway. They're never going to tell the public everything. They tell the public just what they need to know to keep them aware, because they can't withhold it all. But maybe to jog someone's memory, to gain more information. And the police often do a deliberate tactic where they will put misinformation out. Now that's not being underhanded. It's to give a suspect might try to help, but they will reveal information inadvertently which they were holding back. And then we go, only we knew that, and the abductor, the killer, knew it. So there's ways and means, but this very strange. It is very strange. And this Peter Bleksley has said this is an unusual case. He said the way the police have handled it is very unusual. This is not the norm. And the search and rescue guys were saying we've never encountered anything like this before. So to all the people who were saying, oh, there's nothing unusual about this, well, there quite clearly is. It's not your conventional missing person case. Now, whether she has just, look, that's things on my mind. She was going to do like a Reggie Perrin, just, untether the dog, let the dog go free, leave the phone there as a little mystery to keep people occupied back home while she gets out the country. See, I'm speculating now, but she clearly hasn't done that because she'd have been spotted. She couldn't leave the area without being seen, can she? So what is it that they know? Folks, I have no more to go on. There's been lots of interviews with her friends and relatives and people in the village, all expressing their concern. But again, this narrative is, Nikki, come home. Don't worry, come home. We just want you back. When people are abducted and people do go missing, we very often see this with TV, sort of when they give a press conference, the people left behind. They're told to phrase things in a certain way. You can't give too much away. Be emotional, but just keep using, the missing person's name, but give nothing away. And also don't make threats to the person that may have your loved one. Don't start making public threats, because that will only make things worse, which I think would be very hard to do. But that's why these things are very highly organised when you have press conferences. and you sit there and your blood's boiling because you just want, oh no, if anyone's hurt this particular person, oh, if I got my hands on him, you know, the abductor, the kidnapper, Christ, you know. But and you keep wondering, how can they be so dignified? Well, they really are told how to be dignified and really be careful. And if they do start to go into overdrive, like that press conference will be ended very abruptly. So very, very strange scenario this. But I think the way things are moving on, I think you are going to get a conclusion to this. I was saying at the start, really, started the videos on this, that, you know, I hope this just doesn't fade away when it becomes less newsworthy. There's still a chance of that, but this has reached such, it's only getting stronger and more prevalent in the news and in the public sort of eye. So I think you will get a resolution here. You will. This will get a conclusion, but whether it's good, whether it's bad, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm probably now more in the dark about this than I was right at the start, as I suppose many of you people are as well. I don't know. But this whole thing of like really adamant that there's no third party involved. Well, why was the dog set free? Why was the harness taken off? You don't take a harness off the dog. It's got a harness on. The harness comes off only when you get back home again. The harness is on for extra security and control of that animal. So having got a wild husky dog, that, believe you me, that harness is essential. But I will unclip her. I've said this before. I'll let her go off the lead, but I'm not taking that harness off. Because why are you going to do that? What's the point of putting it on in the first place if you're just going to take the harness off as well? If you go in the extra mile there, and then they're put on the bench, nice and orderly, phone, harness, lead. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And the dog wasn't wet. The dog was found in a state of distress, though. That's something that has only really come out in the sort of the last couple of days. I don't think I mentioned it, but the dog was in distress. I think it'd be interesting to know how the dog is reacting at home now, because if I went missing, well, they'd find me. Yeah, he's in the pub. Oh, he's gone missing again, has he? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know where he's in the cask. No, he's not there. We've looked. Then he's in the Telegraph. Then, oh yeah, he's there. We found him. But my dog would be in a right state without me, and I'm assuming that Willow, their dog, probably is in the right state. You just wish that dogs could talk, because the amount of crimes that'd be solved. God Almighty. But this is very strange, without a doubt. And I just hope we get some conclusion, that it doesn't even now just fade away and like you don't hear of it again. I don't know. It is very strange. But on the sort of plus side, it's bringing more of a focal attention on missing people, because now more people are talking about the people who've gone missing on Ben Nevis, people missing in Snowdonia. It's highlighting it. It's bringing people who've gone missing maybe months, even a couple of years ago, with no evidence and still gone, no clues. Well, their names are coming back up again now. So you know, it's putting things back into the public sort of spotlight. Cheers, y'all. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be back with more on this. But God alone knows what. There seems to be latest news. I keep checking latest news, and almost hour by hour, minute by minute, there's a new little snippet. But it tends to be just someone else has been interviewed now, and someone else said this. But even their friends that have appeared on TV as well now, all saying, "Oh, we've got things planned. She wouldn't do this. She's a very kind soul. You know, she's my best friend. You know, and she's a devout animal lover. She dotes upon her girls. She wouldn't do this. You know, Nikki, just come home." I don't know. Folks, happy Norwich Shabba Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, in this ever, where does all the time go? In between time. Please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all with hopefully better news.